songs off the radio for my Miami folks, Power 96, yeah? Whitney before Bobby Brown Whitney, and in the late 80s there was this play, this musical called Fame. And the song I was just singing, that was my song. That was the song that told my story that I couldn't tell other people. But I've gotten a little ahead of myself. We're always proving who we are, always reaching for that rising star to guide me far and shine me home out here on my own. I am a first-generation American. My parents are from Colombia, South America. I'm a Latina. My mom was a farmer. She had goats and chickens and eggs and 4 younger siblings and a dad who died when she was too young. At age 14, she had to go around the country with her aunt to try to earn some money to help the family out. And at 18, when American visas became available, she signed up for one and got it, and ended up in Long Island with a family and became one of the girls. My dad was born in a 3-room shack. He was a teacher when he fell in love with my mom. He followed her here and gave up his education, his experience, and started again as a dishwasher in the restaurants of New York City. And together the two of them got married, started families, started to assimilate, and in the 70s I was born. Now New York is a huge part of me. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Jackson Heights, and at age 9 my mom had to make a decision that was going to keep our family together, so we suddenly moved to Miami. Something changed there. I remember standing at Miami International Airport in front of this bank of phone booths. And I realized that I didn't have anyone's phone number. This was before iPhones and iPads. It was before Snap this and Chat that. There was none of that, right? I was just standing there in front. I didn't even have money. And I realized that I didn't have anyone's phone number, and as a result, at that moment, I was erased. Something shifted. Something changed. We found a 1-bedroom apartment behind. Now, do I have Miami folks here? Is there anybody from Miami? Okay. So Tropical Park, right? There used to be the Tropical Park Drive-In. And my little apartment, 1-bedroom apartment, was right behind that. So I could get onto my bed, look out my back window, and watch movies. That's bad. But at the time, something shifted, something changed. And at the time, the only way I could figure out what that was that I wasn't enough. I wasn't Miami enough. And that stuck with me. Fast forward, and I'm you guys. I forgot to mention that my mom has a couple superpowers. One of them, tenacity. I was floating. I had a good childhood, but I was floating. I was trying to figure things out. Inside of me, I just always felt like I wasn't enough. When it came time to come to college, my mom sat me down and made me fill out those applications, by hand, mind you. Write those essays. I couldn't have done it. I wasn't there. I got into college, and I was a theater major. This made sense. I was a sorority sister. I was a bartender at the local pub, much like BU Pub here. We had a rathskeller there. And I started to plant the seeds of the community that would still be with me today. I just didn't know it. A little while later, I kind of decided that I don't want to be in theater anymore, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. And it turns out that when I was in the 8th grade, I had a friend named John who was deaf. And I didn't learn sign language. And so here was my opportunity. I started to learn some classes. I started to figure out some things. And during this time, my dad decides, let's go to Colombia. I'm like, all right, I'll go to Colombia. And I meet all these people, like all this family that I never knew. I knew, but didn't know. I didn't have. And here we are, this huge family reunion. And now, do you guys know those multicolored buses with like the red and the blue and all the drawings, no doors? We stuffed our family into there, 3 musicians, 2 flats of beer, a chicken, like everything stuffed into this bus, and we're going into the mountains. And we drive, people from age 4 to 84, we drive through the mountains, good hour, maybe 2, things I had carried, there it was again. I come home, and now I'm not American enough. I've got all that cultural in me, that family, and I'm not enough here. I embark on my career because sign language had started that for me. I decided to move to Boston. I go to Northeastern. I am now a 26-year-old junior. I am not young enough. And I'd grown up in Miami, so I wasn't New England enough. It just stuck with me all the time. I'm not enough. Much like Howard had mentioned about kind of flipping that script. I kind of start to get the picture, and I flip that script for myself. I start to figure out, what is that feeling of not enough? And I put a label on it. And she's my little brown girl. She's my little brown girl who pops her head out just actually when I need her most. She's the one who's afraid of being a stereotype, who doesn't want to be like everyone else, who's afraid to step up and to say something. And she's there, and once I was able to identify her and label her, I started to be able to talk to her. And things started to change. I was the one who was in control of my destiny. I was the one figuring out my successes. She still comes in. She was here this morning when I had to walk into this room, but we have a much better relationship. And I figured out I'm enough. I got married at 32 to a man who was my best friend. I had a son at 34. He's amazing. He's 12 now. At 39, I got to come here to BU, to my dream job, where my stage manager life from theater and my sign language as a certified interpreter, all of those things came together. As a Latina, I'm the advisor for the Alianza Latina student group. It all came together. Those people that I met so many years ago when I was in your seat, many of them are still with me. Many of them are still my family, my sisters, my people. So, I bring this to you. It took me more than 30 years to figure out that I'm enough. I'm mom enough. I'm wife enough. I'm employee enough. I lean in. I'm an action verb. I'm not afraid of things going wrong or being wrong because I know I can figure it out. It feels good. So as you guys embark on your journey, I just want to let you know you're enough. Until the morning sun appears, making light of all my fears, I dry the tears I've never shown.